Mario returns to the Game Boy to give fans the adventure they wanted. Players with this handheld system but no home consoles had missed out on the iconic world maps seen in Super Mario Bros. 3 and Super Mario World. Now, with Super Mario Land 2, they finally got their own little world map. And let's be honest, this one has far more personality despite being limited to the Game Boy. Taking it from the top, I'm disappointed that there's no title theme even if most Mario games up to this point were also missing one. There is, however, a small tune to go with a file select. Fittingly, you select your file by entering one of 3 pipes, and it's impressive that the game can track progress in up to 3 files. Down the pipe and into the world map. There's an introductory level here, and it's not exactly engaging, but it is a good chance to get comfortable with the game. All sprites and tiles are significantly bigger than in Super Mario Land 1, which I assure you is for the best, even if it means fewer things fit onto the screen. Considering the size of the Game Boy screen, which is not well represented in this video, you want bigger sprites to see what's happening. There is also a good chance to learn some new mechanics. When you have the mushroom power-up, you can now spin by pressing down on the D-pad while in the air. You're encouraged to do this when you see items underneath these blocks. You also have a chance to earn a fire flower in this level, which has a new function of breaking these different blocks. You can find them at various points throughout the game, and they're guarding rewards and secrets. When that level is over, you get to explore the world map with a lot more freedom than you might expect. There's so much to see. I found the generic auto-scroller level, which doesn't add any value to the game, but after that I started taking a quick tour. I didn't complete the tour because at the bottom right corner of the map I got eaten by a turtle. Slightly shocking, but the retro sound effect to go with the animation was fun, and now it's time for the turtle zone. Admittedly, this zone doesn't have much to do with turtles, but this was one hungry turtle if it also swallowed a ship and a whale. The levels in this zone are mostly focused around water. First up is a beach level with a large chunk spent underwater. The majority of enemies are brand new, adding personality to the game, and there are other recognizable enemies too. These Cheep Cheeps look exactly like they do in Super Mario World, now without color. Next up, we explore a shipwreck, and we see the familiar Koopa Troopa enemies representing the first turtles seen within Turtle Zone. At this point, the swimming was already getting old. However, I found a secret exit leading to a secret course. Sadly, there is no way of knowing if a level will have a secret exit, and the secret courses don't add a whole lot. For now, it's the thought that counts. It's just a cool secret to discover, and you can get coins and power-ups and stuff. And rounding out the zone, after reaching the regular exit of the shipwreck level, it's the whale level. Inside the whale. This level uses swimming more creatively, and you swim in the, whale gunk, which is floating, not connected to the level ground or ceiling. Its spiky ribs are good obstacles, and it makes sense that the fish enemies in here are skeletons. Since it's the last level of Turtle Zone, there's also a boss named Octopus. And that was Octopus. Good fight. When a zone is finished, you get a cutscene showing a golden coin slot into place around a castle door. Looks like there are 6 slots, and that lines up with the game's subtitle, 6 golden coins. The plot of Super Mario Land 2 is that during the events of Super Mario Land 1, debut villain Wario took over Mario's castle and removed the golden coins. He scattered them across the 6 zones connected to Mario Land. Yes, the central chunk of the world map is named Mario Land, meaning Super Mario Land 1 had nothing to do with Mario Land. So, Mario needs to reclaim his land with the golden coins and take down Wario. I started with Turtle Zone somewhat by accident. Most people travel clockwise around Mario Land while I went backwards. Before diving back into levels though, let's talk more about this world map. Because of the way this map is laid out, you can choose to visit zones in any order. The zones themselves are more like traditional world maps in which you must play through the levels in order. Now, since you can go anywhere after playing the first level, Nintendo was careful not to increase the difficulty at the start of zones. The difficulty usually increases within the zones, but not by much, resulting in a very easy game. This is a disappointing realization for many people, including myself. In the end though, this didn't often bother me because the level designs were surprisingly creative. The next zone I went to was Mario Zone. The world map is a giant Mecha Mario, and the levels slowly climb to the top. The level inside his foot is very mechanical, with lots of gear platforming and obstacles like saws moving back and forth. Like most of the levels in this game, I was comfortable playing this level with either of the 2 maximum power-ups. I already mentioned the Fire Flower, but there's another brand new power-up. The Magic Carrot makes Mario grow rabbit ears which help him float for a long time. It's not as broken as the previous flying power-ups we've seen, the Super Leaf and Cape Feather, although it's still easy to bypass many obstacles with these ears. The game often encourages you to use both in the same level. At the end of the level, you can access a stash of coins behind fire blocks, and on your way down to the end goal, there are coins arranged in a zigzag path to collect while floating. Mario Zone goes through a big range of level aesthetics. It's either mechanical themed or toy themed. The second level is entered just above Mecha Mario's legs, and the theme is, balls. Have fun. The tongue level is rather spiky, and the level inside his hat is a bunch of Legos. Hey, take that saw blade away from those precious Lego bricks. It turns out that the 3 little pigs decided to live together in a house of Lego bricks, and it's Mario's turn to be the big bad wolf at the end of the level. You know, I'm not sure what to think of these display counters at the bottom. Mario's big bad wolf reputation is present throughout the game since one of the track's statistics is enemy kills. Bosses don't count though. 100 enemies defeated resets the counter and gives the player an invincibility star as a reward. Coins, on the other hand, do not roll over at 100. They now have a limit of 999, and you can spend these coins on gambling for rewards. The whole game is brimming with rewards. There are 2 different ways to end each level, either by entering the goal door or by first hitting the bell above it. If you ring the bell, you get to play a carnival-style game, either winning power-ups or 1-ups. You don't want to win a super mushroom if you're carrying a stronger power-up though. This is the only Mario game I can think of that downgrades you for collecting a super mushroom in cases like these, which I hope was only an oversight. It's a big oversight nonetheless, and I count it as a flaw. Next up for me was Pumpkin Zone. I don't recall finding any pumpkins inside the levels, but the world map theme is excellent. It's a set of spooky levels with 2 secrets to find, and the spooky variation of the Super Mario Land 2 theme is fun. Speaking of which, this game continues to give its best Super Mario World impression by using the same melody in almost every stage's music. At least this game has more character, and it peaks at a higher standard. Fight me. For Macro Zone, Mario enters a pipe that shrinks him, and then he visits a big house north of Mario Land. Giant Land was a fan-favorite world previously in the series, and I'm glad they brought it back with a brand new look. It starts in the yard, perhaps under the yard, featuring a bunch of ants with different jobs. Then it's another water level. This game is too fond of swimming. We explore more miscellaneous parts of the house in the next level, and then it ends in the fireplace and you climb it to a higher place. You could skip these 2 levels if you find the secret exit in the first level. This is the only secret course that bypasses other levels instead of existing separately from everything else. That said, it's a bland auto-scroller that doesn't link to the theme of Macro Zone. This and the fireplace level lead to the end of the zone, with books conveniently laid out for a mini Mario to jump across. The boss, allegedly one mighty mouse, gave me some trouble. It probably shouldn't have. The fight ends the same way as all the others. Back in normal-sized Mario Land, there's a random hippo statue on the left of the map and a level to go with it. The hippo dispenses a bubble for you to float in, and you can in fact float above all of the obstacles in the level. If you complete this tremendously difficult task of keeping your bubble until the end, ringing the bell above the goal leads to a fan-favorite zone. Sadly, the Space Zone only contains 2 levels, plus an overly sneaky secret course, but Mario's first adventure into space is a memorable one. He also gets a spacesuit automatically. Both levels have their own songs not heard anywhere else in the game, and they also have different physics. The first level is seemingly on a lunar surface with low gravity, while the famous Star Maze in the second level has no gravity. These factors make these levels feel special. To cap it all off, the boss of this zone is Tatanga, the final boss from Super Mario Land 1. He puts up a decent fight in comparison to the other bosses in this game. And finally, the zone that most people visit first, Tree Zone. It represents the whole game very well. Different weird-looking enemies, good uses of power-ups, a secret course, and even another swimming level. The sticky controls here make sense considering you're swimming through big bunches of sap inside the tree. You can also choose to skip a level on your way to the boss between a tricky leafy platforming level or a beehive. I'm happy to say that I beat every level in this game. But this game is easy, like I said, so that isn't hard. Or is it? Well, the secret courses are nicely hidden for the most part. I was impressed that I found all of the secrets on my own, even the one in Space Zone. But they're even easier than the normal levels. The real challenge is waiting to knock players off their feet once they beat the bosses of the 6 zones and return the 6 golden coins. Wario's Castle is the final level and it's huge. It's far bigger and more challenging than any other level in the game, and it's awesome. I do think the difficulty spike is aggressive, and perhaps having a build up to this moment with one final zone would have been best. They could have made Wario Zone, although this castle basically is an entire zone in one level, checkpoints not included. It's hardest right at the beginning, which I appreciate. It's also slightly less creative as it goes on, but it kept me on my toes. Nintendo were very harsh to not even add a checkpoint before the final boss. Wario is aggressive and can stun Mario by shaking the ground. Like the other bosses, you only need to jump on him 3 times to defeat him. Nope, he obviously has more tricks up his sleeve. You'll have to do that again while he has bunny ears and one more time with the fire flower. Given how huge Wario's castle is, this is a nerve-wracking finale, and I was proud to complete this level. And with that, Mario recaptures his castle and flips the enemy W logo upside down to read M for Mario. I had a blast playing this game. It's fairly short even if you play every level, but that doesn't bother me. I've hinted that I preferred this game to Super Mario World, and I will stand my ground there. This game has personality everywhere, while I found Super Mario World to have minimal personality. Now, I have to take a step back and take a fair look at the whole game. Fundamentally, as much as I want to call Super Mario Land 2 the better game in that matchup, I can't. There are too many levels that involve swimming, and the water isn't fun to move through. It's too sticky, although that makes sense for the whale and tree sap levels, which were more enjoyable. I didn't see much value in the optional levels either, sadly. The game would be better rounded off with an addition of Wario Zone instead of going straight into the castle. Regardless, I would absolutely play this game again. Therefore, my final score for Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins will be 7.7 out of 10. Play this game if you have the opportunity. It's easily accessible on Nintendo Switch Online, and it's short enough to complete in around 2 hours. While no official remakes have been made, some people will recommend the fan-made Super Mario Land 2 DX, which adds Luigi and fixes certain problems. Now, I didn't take much issue with how easy the game is, but back in 1992, Famitsu clearly did. Their average score was only 6.25 out of 10. Electronic Gaming Monthly, on the other hand, thought it was the best action Game Boy game available. Their average score was 8.75 out of 10, which tied with their Game of the Month, but didn't receive the award. Nintendo Power posted a beautiful 8-page preview and gave it a very solid 16.7 out of 20. Tell me, did you agree with the points I've made? What rating would you give Super Mario Land 2 6 Golden Coins for the Game Boy, initially released in 1992? Press like to get your own invisible bunny ears and subscribe because I'm as greedy as Wario. As ever, thank you for watching, and please continue to be your own unique self. Why is the moon sad? Was the moon always sad?